electoral units as Kenya does its business as usual? Number two, if you assume this office as chair, what would you bring in by way of reparation for these electoral units that have not been represented as Kenya has been transacting its affairs normally? And then the last question is, you are aware that there is already election campaign going on even before Iebc is constituted. Do you think this is healthy for the country? And if you assumed the office of chair, what will you bring on board that would bring tranquility in the country for economic prosperity, so that we don't go from election results and immediately we kick off to election campaigns? And for record, Chair, Nyamira County has 2 wards which have no MCAs, Nyamaya Ward and Nyansiongo Ward. Because as you are aware, I can't transact in this committee without mentioning Nyamira County.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mugaka. I think that is extremely patriotic. But you've rightly said there are 2 wards which do not have MCS, and that is the first and foremost assignment for the chairperson, nominated chairperson, if this committee finds favor to approve his nomination. The vice chairman has joined us as we were proceeding. He'll introduce himself and pose his question.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and my apologies to you, my colleague members, and everyone. I was held up in other national duties. That's why I walked in slightly after the session had started. My name is Mwengi Mutusa. I'm the Member of Parliament for Kibwezi West, and I also serve as Vice Chair of this committee. Nominee for Chairperson of Iebc, a very important position in the Republic of Kenya. I have 2 questions for you. Number one of what we have been told previously, that one of the reasons why our elections are very expensive, among the most expensive in the world, is because of trust deficit. The political operators, us in the political class, and even citizens do not trust each other. And so, because it is also alleged that you may be of a particular political inclination, assuming that this committee approves you and finally you become the Iebc chair, what are you going to do to bridge that trust deficit so that we may begin to see Kenyans trusting the electoral process? You are aware, for example, in a country like the United States, the ballots will be sent online. They do not have to have 100 security features. People will vote. They will post them online. They will also post them through the post office, and they will be counted, and nobody will say there's a problem. But in our case, we can't even trust to print our ballot papers in our printing presses here. We have to take them to faraway countries. We have to send people to go and supervise printing, bring them here. One ballot paper has to have over 10 security features. What is it that you are going to do, given the background that has been alleged about you, to bridge that trust deficit? And number 2, a practical question. Every other election, there has been contestations about rigging of elections, especially presidential elections. And majorly, that has been attributed to technology. People will say, well, we voted this way, but what was relayed to the National Tallying Center is different from what was on the ground. I have my views about it, but I would want you to tell Kenyans, do you believe that elections in Kenya are rigged? If you believe that they are rigged, what are you going to do to ensure that they are not rigged? If they are not rigged, why do you think they are not rigged? Finally, principally, you are trained as a lawyer, principally. I would want to know why it was important for you to study project management and peace and conflict, because as a lawyer, and many lawyers are very proud of their profession, many of them stick to legal issues. So one would be curious to just understand why you found it necessary to veer and study other professions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Thank you, honorable members. I counted the questions in spite of them having been told to ask for one. They did about 2, others did about 3, maximum at 20, all of them. We have 20 minutes within which to answer the 20 questions. So please be concise, precise. You do not have to repeat yourself, and where you can condense answers in respect of 3 questions into one, please do so. 20 minutes to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members of this committee. Allow me to really sincerely thank you for those very important questions, questions that are vexing to all of us and to Kenyans, and questions that beg answers from me as the chair nominee, but also to some extent answers from all of us as Kenyan citizens. In regard to the first set of questions from the Honorable Chair regarding what I bring to the table that will inspire confidence and ensure that Kenyans enjoy that right to elect their leaders in a free, fair, verifiable, and credible elections. I think, Honorable Chair and members, these are questions that even I, since I was nominated as chair, have been asked by fellow citizens outside there. In fact, last night I was at a barber shop, and the barber asked me, Chair, do you think we will ever have free and fair elections in Africa? Not Kenya alone. But I knew, of course, where he was going. So to answer your question, Honorable Chair and members, I think I took this role knowing very well that there's a lot that is expected from us. There's a lot of issues that Kenyans are worried about. The issues, of course, of guaranteeing them free and fair election as per the Constitution. The issues of credibility, the issues of trust. And for me, I think if we address the issue of elections, we must, as Kenyans, begin by trusting in ourselves, because trust begins with us. When we trust ourselves, then we begin to look at what are the legal frameworks that are there to help us, for example, navigate through issues of governance in this country. That is when we begin to look at the Constitution and trust it. Does our Constitution serve us? Does it work? What does it say? The institutions that have been created by that Constitution, to manage our elections, including our electoral management body, the Iebc, and others that are supposed to support that electoral management process. Do we trust in those institutions? Do we trust in the people that have been given the responsibility and the public trust to manage those institutions? Do we trust the laws that have been passed by this honorable House, by our Parliament, and the regulations that govern the electoral processes? So when, Honorable Chair and members, when we as Kenyans begin to ask those questions, I think we'll be heading in the right direction, such that then those of us who are lucky, those of us who have come out courageously, and it must be really courageous, because when I applied for this job, I was told this is the hot seat, I don't even go there, we don't know whether to congratulate you or to, you know, all sorts of things. So those of us who have come out who have stepped out to provide leadership in our electoral management body and processes, we begin then to tell Kenyans, we will play our role as Iebc, I will play my role as chairperson, in the sense that I will be guided by the Constitution of Kenya and the laws of Kenya, and that through that fidelity to the law, I should be able to follow all the laid down processes that will lead us to credible, free, fair, verifiable elections. So my point is, Honorable Chair, is that we have to begin by trusting in ourselves. Number two, trusting that our Constitution works, that our laws governing our elections work and we can be implemented, and that we will comply with these laws, and that then the institutions created to manage our elections are given an opportunity and that benefit of doubt to be able to work and to deliver results. Of course, there have been challenges in terms of sometimes negative perceptions. There have been, of course, challenges in terms of actual incidences of electoral malpractices. But even as we have those challenges, we still, as a country and as citizens of this country, have to seek refuge in our Constitution and in our laws, so that then even those who perpetuate electoral malpractices, we should deal with them knowing that there are laws that govern electoral offenses, and that these laws will be implemented, and those people who perpetuate electoral malpractices can be held to account. So for me, I will rely more on my faith and my trust in our Constitution and our laws and our institutions that we have set, that we the people have given unto ourselves, and Article 1 of the Constitution, under which article the people have donated that power to us. Number two, in relation to my nomination, Honorable Chair, I wouldn't really want to dwell much on that, because, Honorable Chair, I think most Kenyans, from the day the advert was put out there, from the day the first advert was put, and then it was cancelled to allow room for further consultations, and that resulted to the NADCO process and the outcome of the NADCO process, and subsequent advertisement for this position, and inviting those of us who are interested and who felt like we had something to offer. We were invited in an open process. We submitted our applications, and I recall very well, Honorable Chair, for the record, at first I was reluctant even to apply for this job, given the negativity and all these things around this position. But at the cyber cafe, where I normally photocopy my things and my papers, even for my work in South Africa, the young people in that cyber cafe, Peter, Purity, and Kizito, they are the people who urged me to put in my application, because looking at my documents and having conversations with me over tea, they thought and they felt that you have what it takes to lead this country in this institution. And at first I thought maybe I should just apply for the commission and, you know, the hot seat, leave it alone. But they actually went and submitted the documents both for the chair and for member. So when I was in South Africa, they sent me a screenshot. We've submitted the documents. And later on, when I was on my way to, I think, Angola or something, I saw my name in the newspapers that I've been shortlisted. I honored the...
So it is not you who applied?
I submitted the documents. I signed.
I think that's very important.
Yes.
Are you saying you did not submit your own application for this position?
Right. Kisito, the one who photocopies for me. So I bound everything, and I asked them to submit once everything was in order.
So they submitted the documents for you?
They just submitted the documents.
You had applied yourself, you had signed the documents, etc.
Yeah.
So let's carry on.
Actually, I have a copy of my application.
No problem.
With the documents.
Okay.
So
let's move on to the process. Yes.
That actually, basically, all these conspiracy theories around maybe being pushed around by certain interest groups to apply. I just wanted, for the record, for Kenyans to know that ordinary Kenyans are equally concerned, and they felt maybe they can add me to apply. So I went through interviews. They were televised. I gave my account for why I should be considered for this position, and I think the rest of the process proceeded as per the law that governs recommendation, nomination, and approval. And that's why I am here, Honorable Chair. So I would like to rest that matter at that point, and then proceed to answer other questions, including the warning that 2027 might be a bloodshed if and when we as Iebc mess around with the people's votes. I think, Honorable Chair, this is a very uncomfortable discussion, but also very necessary, because those of us who have been in this country long enough, we know what we have gone through from 1992. At least that one I can recall. I'm sure most of you were there, maybe 1988, and participated in these processes. We've had a pattern where every election has had some incidences of violence. And of course, in 2007, we completely lapsed into a crisis of such big proportion and magnitude that a repeat of such a scenario would not be something that we would wish for this country. So as Iebc, we will work very hard with other stakeholders, including the security agencies. We would work with the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. We will work with partners in civil society, the media, to ensure that as we move towards this 2027, that we will put in place measures to prevent electoral-related violence. And Honorable Chair, during my tenure and my work at UNDP, most of the work that I did was around the recovery from the 2007 post-election and working with national government institutions, including the Iebc, for programs that ensured that we had the 2010 referendum that went peaceful, the 2012-2013 campaigns and subsequent elections went successfully. And there are those specific measures that we put in place that, given this opportunity, I'll be able to bring to the Iebc and to the nation, so that then we work on electoral violence prevention. We can have a robust program on that.
Just before you go on, Honorable Karemba, you had some rider to put to that very fast?
I am not satisfied by how you have settled the question that I asked, because I feel that he is now answering. You know, I had
He has not come to you as yet.
Oh, okay.
This is still
Those are for free from me.
Okay.
Apart from, you've talked about putting into place systems to prevent post-election violence. Will you also put in place systems to prevent election malpractices? Because we start with the malpractices first, then we go to the violence, so that we actually ensure that we have a free, fair, credible, justifiable election, such that nobody can challenge it. And if there is to be a challenge, should it be through violence, or how do we challenge? Because every person has a right to challenge election results. with written violence, or how do we challenge when there is grievances regarding an election?
Okay, thank you.
Mogaka, Raida? Okay.
Raida, yes, on that. One, he mentioned of having been pushed by even Babas to apply. Has he fully disclosed who others pushed him to apply? Number two, he has again mentioned that he lives in Joburg. Can the nominee assure Kenyans that if he assumes this position, he will not banco an election and take his comfort in Joburg, because Kenyans have no other place to go? Thank you.
Chairman, mine is just as a point of order. Chairman, you gave the nominee 20 minutes to answer. Only on your questions, we are now, I think we've taken 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Let's be faster. I'll make sure it's faster than that. First and foremost, quickly in one sentence each, defray the fears we have, then we move on to the questions substantive that were asked. They are not as elaborate as you're making it.
Yeah, okay.
You're just being a little bit prolonging.
Okay.
I don't want to use that other one we use in law. Let's just prolonging. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think what I need to assure the committee and the nation at large is that once confirmed as chair, and I take that oath of office, the moment I take that oath of office, I will know I have crossed just from being a mere citizen, enjoying rights in this country, but I will immediately become a duty bearer as the chairperson of the Iebc. And as a duty bearer, it's my responsibility to ensure that this country has free, fair, transparent, credible, but more importantly, peaceful elections. And through that, I know, Chair, our election is highly regulated. From the constitutional provisions to the legislative provisions to regulations, there is an elaborate process through which we conduct our elections. And as the new chair and commission, we will ensure that internally we put our house in order. That if there are any challenges that the post-election evaluation report identifies, if there are any challenges that our partners and stakeholders, for example, through the political parties liaison committee, if there are those challenges that they identify, it's our responsibility as duty bearers to put in place measures to rectify those, so that then we perfect our system. Chair, also, in terms of those incidences of malpractices that sometimes make the system appear not to be working, I think Kenyans, I would ask us to trust that in this new Iebc, when we identify cases of malpractices, we should be able to punish those. We should be able to take action in terms of working with the relevant government institutions to investigate and bring those perpetrators to book. So, Chair, I think that is the much.
Will you run away to South Africa if you baggle the election and you leave us fighting one another?
Chair, this is my country and I love it very much. That is why I came back, and that is why I want to continue serving it in this.
Why are you working in South Africa?
That is I'm working currently with African Union, which you know we are member state, and we're also doing things to actually, for example, the programs that we're doing is to support countries emerging from crises and conflicts and that are going through governance transitions like Gabon and Mozambique and stuff like that. So it's equally important work.
You're managing South Africa itself, which seems to have its own peculiar problems with races.
Yes, of course, there are challenges of governance there as well. But for me, when if called upon to serve my country, this is my priority, and it will be my pride.
Thank you very much. In the remaining 10 minutes, please take the other questions very fast. They were precise.
It's a very important question.
Yeah, but for purposes of that that transparency of the electoral process itself, how much are you willing to spend, or rather commit yourselves into technology? Because a country like India with 800 million voters By 5:36, you already know the results. It's nothing. It's you can get that all over. You can buy those packages of that technology, and it's the cheapest thing when you compare it to the kind of cost we have in Kenya. But that way, you can even be looking at the screen and seeing how well a party or an individual or a candidate is doing. How much are you willing to invest in that technology for purposes of
Thank you,
yes, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Farah. I think technology, our elections have come of age, from the Mulolongo to the secret ballot to the manual, and now to the integration between manual and electronic. What we can do is to take it even higher, to look at what are the emerging technologies, to look at what is out there. So my role as the leader of that commission is to sit down with the experts to understand what is new. I've seen even some young Kenyans circulating some apps that they have come up with a system where you can do electronic election monitoring from your phone. So we need to bring all these actors together, our young, vibrant youth, the tech companies, and of course working under the guidance of this parliament to be able to see how can we up our game. What is new? How can we improve things from 2022 to 2027?
Okay, question number 2.
Yes, it's a very important question, Honorable Chair, from my learned senior, Honorable Otiende Amolo, MP for Arieda, and I think, and Honorable Daud, regarding my suitability. I would like to, when we finish law school, for those of us who went to law school, you finish your first degree. Normally, you can choose to go to the Kenya School of Law and to pursue a career.
Law school is which one?
To the Kenya School of Law.
Which is law school in Kenya? The School of Law or the university you go to?
Finish the university,
yes.
You go to the Kenya School of Law under the Council for Legal Education. And then once you're admitted as an advocate, you can decide to go to court and be a practicing lawyer advocate in court, or you can decide to pursue your career in academics. And so for me, when I finished my law school and I got admitted, I'd worked already for 1 year in a law firm. And then I worked, as I mentioned to you, in Parliament. And part of our work, which I was responsible for, was to do research into policies and legislations from when Kenya became independent. So we compiled that, what you call parliamentary policy and legislative briefs. So that's work I did for roughly 2 years. After that, I worked at the National Commission on Human Rights, doing legal work. My work was legislative drafting, research, policy, and a very important role that I think maybe most people did not appreciate in this country was that my role was to look at legislative proposals. And from the AG, before they go to Parliament, my role was to infuse international human rights standards into our legislation. So I did that work for 3 years, and honorable members, when I proceeded to join the United Nations, the work of the United Nations, as I've said, is to serve and to work for national government institutions with them. And my specific role was also centered on providing leadership at the Kenya.
As a point of order, because the nominee is answering my question, I'd like the nominee, you have a copy of the Constitution, to open Article 166(3)(b), so that please answer that question with reference to that section very shortly.
Justifying your great academic achievements.
Honorable Chair,
are you qualified to be the chairperson?
Yes, Honorable Chair, because I have spent over 15 years doing legal work, mainly in the field of human rights. And last year, Honorable Chair, for the record, I was actually shortlisted and I did interviews for the High Court judge, for which I was not successful, but that's when I continued.
The requirement is not spending 15 years doing some work. What exactly is the requirement? For you to be chairman, you must be What does the law require you to be?
Article 166, 3B.
The first with
And
what is your requirement
Specific.
after the constitutional provision where we have Iebc 88? The chairperson must be. After that, tell us whether you're qualified under the two provisions, 88 and 166.
Chair and members, I am qualified because I'm a legal practitioner in the field of human rights and human rights law with specialization in international human rights.
Does 88 say a person qualifies to be chairperson if you're qualified to be a judge of the Supreme Court? I don't know, to be a judge of the Supreme Court.
Chair, Chair, he has Article 166.
Yes,
Look at
so from there, go to
look at
Article
where he
166,
sits.
who is a judge of the Supreme Court, so that you can tie the two together and say, I'm qualified because Supreme Court, judge, Supreme Court requires. It's over.
Chair, I think in terms of Article 1663, it talks about at least 15 years experience as a Superior Court judge, which I have not been a Superior Court judge, at least 15 years experience as a distinguished academic, judicial, legal practitioner, or such experience in other relevant legal field. And I think that's where I fall to Honorable Chair.
That's where you fall. You don't, do you think, or you actually confirm?
I'm saying I
That's where you
that's
fall.
where I fall.
Thank you. All right, let's move to the next. We have to move on. See,
Which is that relevant field?
in the relevant field. Which is the relevant field now here?
International human rights law.
National human rights.
Yes.
All right. The field it doesn't have to apply. It's a relevant field, like a litigation lawyer. That's the field I specialize in. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Karemba, quickly.
In terms of the question from the Honorable Kanemba, he has raised the issues of my close relationship with Honorable Nanok, was our former governor. Honorable Karemba and honorable members of this committee, I've known Honorable Nanok when I worked with him as the county attorney for Turkana while he was serving as the governor. And I worked with him for 4 years, and our relationship was purely professional in serving the people of Turkana in our various capacities, him as governor and myself as the county attorney. And our relationship, the professional relationship, ended in 2022 after he left. And then I continued serving under Honorable Jeremiah Lomorkai, the current governor for Turkana, for another 2 years, bringing a total of my service in Turkana to 6 years, and I left. And Honorable Chair, with your permission, allow me to assure this committee that whatever the relationships, whether familial or friendship or people you have gone to school with, which I'm sure some of them are in this house, some of my former bosses are also members of this parliament, some are in the civil society. No man is an island, no person is an island. But what our constitution tells us is that Iebc is an independent commission. Iebc must not be under the control or direction of anybody whatsoever, any person or authority. And that if I, as a chairman, once you confirm me, if I misbehave in the process, the provisions of Article 251 will check in. Any member of the public, any citizen of this country can petition this house, this parliament, to remove me for any gross misconduct, violation of the constitution, incompetence, or any other reason that is within the law. So I don't think the nation should worry about the many relationships we've had as we grow along our career paths or in our lives.
Are you related to Honorable Josephat Nanok? Are you related in any way? For filial,
for the record, Honorable Chairman,
marriage, etc.
For the record, Honorable Chairman, not even close, even at the level of clan, let alone family. And we come from totally different villages, even clan-wise. If you look at it, we are very, very far apart. We have no any relationship, whether by marriage or extended family or anything like that.
Thank you very much. Honorable Makali's question.
Chairman, as is leaving that, I had asked the very important question that the nominee must disabuse the allegation contained in Dr. Magenyi's affidavit that he would be biased in favor of His Excellency Dr. William Ruto.
Honorable Chair, with your permission, I have actually, Honorable Leonard Senior, I have actually sworn an affidavit to actually state my position in regard to that and to affirm that I shall be guided by the law, I shall be impartial, I shall be fair, and no office, whether small or big in this land, shall influence me my running of the commission, and that I shall rely on the constitution and the laws of Kenya. So therefore,
they're asking you whether you will be courageous to announce results. That's what they're saying, that you will not be.
Chair, I look at both, even the president of the way I see things, as I've said, the moment I take oath of office, should I be confirmed, I look at both potential, all those people will come up to offer themselves for the leadership of this country at the level of presidency. These are my clients. These are the people I serve. These are the people that we will work with to ensure that whoever Kenyans elect, they should be able to trust the process and the outcome.
Chair, with your permission, Mr. Etekon, I want you to answer that question specifically. Will you be biased in favor of William Ruto or not?
Absolutely, Honorable Chair and members, absolutely not.
Just answer the way he has asked. I will not be.
I shall not be. Thank you.
Chair. He has indicated that he will not be influenced by him. You said you were a bit reluctant to apply for this position. You were influenced by Babas in some place. You are going photocopiers. Will you confirm to Kenyans that you have actually the spine to be in this office, which is a boiling room?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, through Honorable Chair. I think the context within which I brought that is to demonstrate to this House and Kenya that ordinary Kenyans are concerned about the type of a person who should supervise the elections, who should facilitate the transparent, peaceful, credible, transparent elections. Which is why, looking at even the various people who are out there, they thought, I am untainted, I am qualified, and from our conversations, they felt I'm passionate enough to go for this position. And I would want to assure this House that those values that I bring and my commitment, that is what I bring to this House, and no office.
And the spine?
The spine
is really the courage.
And as the Honorable Farah did indicate that we are warriors. You know, when you look at the journey, some of us have survived, bandit attacks, even when coming to Nairobi for school, our villages have been overrun. We've gone through these traumatic experiences. So I don't think there's anything that can cow me. Whether you hold a gun on my head, as long as I do the right thing, what the law says, I shall do it.
Thank you. That's a commitment you make it to us. The question by Honorable Dawood, is there anything remaining that is not answered? Honorable Makali's question. It was on. Let's move on.
That Honorable Makali's question was in regard to past experiences.
Yes. That is absolutely covered. What was the other one? Anything else, Makali, that is not answered? Cost of election, which is very expensive.
Honorable members, I think the issue of cost of election, I think Honorable Vice Chair actually spoke to it a bit and explained even some of those factors that drive our cost. But for me, I look at our cost of election as an issue of trust, as the Vice Chair put it. when we don't trust ourselves, when we don't trust our institutions, when we don't trust our printers, when we don't trust our everything, then we resort to those measures out of fear that we need to print ballot boxes in grays and what have you. So for me, we need to build this trust, starting from us as individuals. And this should cascade across our Kenyan citizens to begin to give us ourselves a chance to do the right thing. And so that when we as a commission are giving practical proposals to lower the costs of our elections, then we should do it knowing that Kenyans will trust that what actions we have taken will still ensure free, credible, transparent, and peaceful elections. I will summarize that.
And if you bring black ballot boxes, black, you know, we insist they must be transparent. You say we trust you when you bring black ballot boxes.
Honorable Chair, I think the way...
In fact, before you go on it, the question is not the why, but the how. How? You know, all of us know there is a problem of trust and we want to bring it back. How?
Honorable Chair, I think the issue of trust sometimes comes as a result of many narratives. And when, as a new commission, we will confront those negative narratives and perceptions through a robust media and communication strategy. We should be able to engage with Kenyans, and we should be able to open the commission and our processes to scrutiny, so that then, along the way, where Kenyans point out where there are problems or issues, including where there are opportunities for electoral malpractices, including rigging and what have you, we should be able to address those issues and still assure the Kenyans that we are proceeding well. So trust is about educating one another. It's about reaffirming our values in our our beliefs in our laws, in our processes, so that then, once we believe that, then we can, even if we say we will use the black ballot boxes, and as long as majority of Kenyans or all Kenyans trust that nothing will happen, or even if we go electronic and say we will do mail-in ballots, Kenyans still trust it's a process that they believe in. So it's about that belief.
Thank you. Honorable Dawood. Dawood's question was on? No, hold on, Farah. Honorable Dawood, your question was on? Is it answered?
One of them was answered.
Harmony, so that we don't have two screens.
In terms of, I think as a commission, the commissioners are 7 by law, with the chair as being the primus inter pares, the first among equals. And when we are brought on board, if everything goes well, the first thing I will do as a leader is to ensure that there's proper induction amongst this team, so that we all understand what our functions, what our roles, and then build that teamwork together. So that is one first step in terms of creating harmony, because we come from different orientations. Maybe a few of us are lawyers. There's a way in which we behave. Others are from different backgrounds and professions. So we need to reconcile that and focus on one agenda. Number 2, I think where disputes arise, which are bound because we're human beings, where disputes arise, we have to put in place internal mechanisms to resolve those disputes. And I think that's where my knowledge of, conflict resolution, mediation, negotiation come in. So I'll be able to play that role. And where perhaps the issues between us that will require maybe outside external interventions, we have even our interreligious leaders who can intervene and be able to resolve any disputes that are within us that are likely to affect our work.
Thank you. That is arbitration you've just talked about, or negotiation. Honorable Mushira's question was on what?
I think
it's done.
I will want to...
The turnout, yes. Why do we have poor turnouts ordinarily in Kenyan elections, and the registration which you're just about to back on?
I think to attack the reason why there could be that low registration and voter turnout, you can begin to see when in the last, compare the 2017 and 2022 elections, the turnout for 2017 was around 78. And then the subsequent election, we were looking at 64. So you see almost a 10 point. So I think we would need to, number one, address, of course, the issues of trust. Because the disillusionment of our young people particularly, when they don't see any value in participating in these processes, then we need to address that and to talk to our young people to come up and register and restore hope to them that it is a civic duty for them to undertake. Number two, after the commission, once the commission is not in place, then even registration of voters stops. So once we are confirmed, God willing, we will hit the ground running to try and speed up that process of registering voters. And there are many new voters now. The people who are born 2007, 2008, now they are reaching 18 years and they are quite a substantial number. So we need to focus on our voter registration. In terms of voter turnout, again, the messaging from all of us. Because as I've said, trust, confidence, it's a responsibility not only of the Iebc chair, but also of this parliament, the politicians who are aspiring, the media and all that. So if we do positive messaging, people will feel encouraged to turn up in large numbers. And if we assure them that the election will be free, fair, transparent, credible, then I'm 100% there'll be big improvements. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a question from Honorable Zuleka. No. Let's go on. No. Let's go on. Zuleka's question was on what, Zuleka? The other one is coming shortly after this. We have to finish. The second question was on? Zuleka? Can you remember? Yeah, the second question.
Yeah, that's...
use of technology.
Can I just elaborate on that, innovation and digital before the chair?
To answer for him, all right?
No. I just want to ask him, ask him something. I questioned about the issue of digital, the use of digital technology, or technology, for example, to make it easier for this thing to be, fair, transparent, credible. We also have the issue of digital, which can be misused, which is the social media right now. Social media can become another center of serious disruption and conflict in the country. You probably cannot answer this now, but one needs to put a serious thought into these things if we have to do certain things about our laws or certain actions to be taken so that some busybody somewhere cannot put this country under flame. So this is another thing I just...
Honorable, you are referring to the issues we have to deal with misinformation and disinformation, and of course the use of new media to perpetuate that. I think that's one of the things that as a commission we will be alive to, and we will work with the various stakeholders and industry players to see how we can mitigate the negative impacts of that while actually amplifying the positive aspects of that. And I think to go to Honorable Speaker's question about technology, I think the next election will largely be technology driven. Even if we don't adjust our laws to allow for final results in terms of our electronic transmission, but I think in terms of mobilizing our young voters to vote, in terms of educating them on the voting processes, in terms of encouraging them to turn out, technology, for example, the chatbot and other apps will come into play. Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms. As a commission, personally, in order to encourage our youth, we will work with the leaderships of the youth in this country to identify those opportunities in the digital space. Thank you.
Honorable Mogaka, is yours answered? Mogaka, the series of them?
The series of them.
I think they were all answered.
They have not been answered. I asked who funded his education and why.
So, sorry, the first one was what?
Who funded his
who funded your education?
And why?
Very fast.
Thank you,
That's
Honorable Chair. My education as Starry Boy Center was a free boarding space which was granted to needy boys by the late Dr. Geoffrey William Griffith. Of Nyasiongo in Nyamira, I've had to endure this unfortunate situation where they have had their representatives, and indeed there are many other constituencies and wards, and that is again, Chair, because there was no Iebc in place, and yet the law says the commissioners must be there to conduct to explain it, but again the issue of trust and the processes of establishing the Iebc and putting it in place so that it can run the calendar. Thank you.
all right. I think
about ongoing election campaigns.
yes.
Is that
I don't know whether there is any ongoing elections or is sensitization or it is people expressing their freedoms to associate, assemble, and everything. I don't know what your channel is.
Article 38 of our Constitution gives us our political freedoms, but also there are also those rights, including the rights of speech and all that. So I mean, and Kenya is such a vibrant society, and I thank God for that. We should be proud as Kenyans that we have a constitution that gives us these rights. I have visited some countries, and the moment you land there, you can see gloom and what people are not engaged in this conversation even about their governance and leadership and their future. Thank you.
As in closing, I know you're but I've just seen the replying affidavit, and there's a question that arises from paragraph 3. The nominee, Mr. Tekon, you say you have never been a member of a political party. Is that what you are telling this committee? As you are closing, I still asked your Luo and Spanish connections.
I will deal with the Luo and Spanish connection, number one. Number two is, yes, he says he's not been a member of a political party. Is it true? But we've never belonged to a
Honorable
political party.
Chair, for the record, I've not been any member, a member of any political parties, and I have a clearance certificate to that effect.
That one is talking about as we speak today.
Yes.
But in when you joined Honorable Nanok, were you not a member of his party?
That type, I remember when I joined Honorable Anoka, I was never in the political
So you've
space.
never registered with any political party in the country ever since?
Not that I know, but I know I have never taken that conscious step to register. But I hear
maybe you are registered different.
Here some
in this country we know we belong to different parties which you did register yourself. Okay. Are elections rigged in the country?
The chair, so as he does that on the lessons learned and what he brings on board. That's what I had asked him also.
I think, Honorable Chair, the elections in Kenya, I think over time there's been a lot of improvement in the way we manage our elections. Let's give credit where it's due. But we can also the fact that there have been challenges here and there, including some incidences where there have been electoral malpractices, including rigging of elections in some stations. But having said that, I still trust the electoral system and laws that allow us from the polling station to protect our votes, that allow us to transmit our votes safely. I think they will work, and it's my role to enforce as the new chair. It's my role to work with the various stakeholders to ensure that we do the right thing within the commission, but also working with other stakeholders, including the investigative agencies, to address our complaints.
Honorable Makali is asking, what are you bringing to the table? Different from Honorable Chebukati and Kivuitu, Chesoni, all the way to Montgomery.
I think I bring to the table my commitment to this country to consolidate and entrench the democracy that we need for stability, for economic development, and for prosperity of this country. And have all the necessary tools resolution in managing election as a project. I bring those multiple tools and skills to the table. I also bring my experience and networks having worked with the international community, civil society. These are people I can work with together to support us to succeed as a country.
Right, thank you very much. Now, these are very routine questions which you have to answer yes or no quickly. Number one, have you been convicted of any offense in the Republic of Kenya or even out there? Loudly enough for me to hear. No. Number two, have you been named or aspersions cast on you regarding Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that is your ethics on matters governance?
No.
State, in what areas do you have potential conflict of interest if you are selected to be the chairperson of the Iebc? Where do you think there will be a conflict so that Kenyans know where to watch as you continue to deliver the services?
Honorable Chair, at the moment, none, no. But if they arise, I will invoke the provisions of Chapter 6, Article 75, and I shall declare immediately those incidences.
Right. Have you been able to do any pro bono services, to give pro bono services in the country? And if yes, which particular counties? And what did you do there?
Honorable Chair, at Starehe Boys Center, that's where we were taught voluntary service, and I worked in our local health center back home. And I also volunteered as a teacher before I joined the university for a whole year. And throughout my career, I have done other voluntary services within my community and in building churches, the African inland churches.
Thank you very much. And finally now, as we stop there, what is your net worth? How do we value you so that we are able to monitor you? Because you know very well IBC may be a very lucrative place to do illegal business in the breach of the law and to abuse that office. What is your net worth?
Honorable Chair and members, my net worth is estimated at 276,882,237.
Made up of what?
Made up of mainly assets, land, livestock, some Safaricom shares, and motor vehicles.
And motor vehicles.
Yeah.
What are your current sources of income?
Currently, my sources of income are from my earnings from the African Union Development Agency.
Okay. All right. Do you anticipate any other sources of income in the future?
And maybe in the next few months, the county government of Turkana still owes me my gratuity.
Do you expecting gratuity from the county government of Turkana?
Yes, yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Erastus Edun Efekon.
The livestock, do you anticipate?
Right, yes.
Before we go to the law, I don't know why.
I will get, he wants to understand that, and I will.
We are looking. Somalis were speaking the law. The chair, please protect me from Daudan. From your livestock. I mean, I'm a livestock owner, and they give birth. I sell them. I take them to the market. So you would definitely be getting some income out of that. And it's important that you declare it so somebody does not say tomorrow that you got this money from Iebc.
Is it not obvious?
At the moment, I've declared about 4.3
from livestock.
230 shots, then 12 camels, 36 cows. And Honorable Farah, because of my travels and all these pursuits, I have not been a very good pastoralist, so I need to improve on.
Yes, I think the numbers are mentioned.
Of livelihood. And Honorable Chair, permit me to speak with my
this is what I have to say before you speak in the language which some of us will not understand. So because we trust the senior counsel, Honorable Tiende Amolo, and yourself, we have no reason to doubt that you, in a decent conversation, greetings and the exchange of pleasantries in the Luo language, so that he's convinced you can actually speak the Luo.
Chair, may he speak the law after my question that I don't insist that he answers.
Yes, yeah. which is the question that he may not answer.
He may choose or not choose to answer. Given the history of the leadership of the electoral body in this country, does the nominee in his heart of hearts not think that this time round we should have had a woman chair? Thank you.
Do you have an answer to that?
To be fair, that can
let him say it himself. Let him say himself whether he wants to comment on it or he.
As he's closing, Chairman.
It is a start.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Peter.
Point of order, Chair. Yes, I think I will allow.
Could you confirm whether Peter, Purity, and Kizito, who assisted him to apply, are South Africans or they are Kenyans?
Yeah, of course they're Kenyans.
These are Kenyans from.
Those are Kenyans from
Mushada here in Banana and one from Mukambani.
Right, they're photocopying someplace.
Chair, my last one the same. Given one thing is, there's no question, when there's a post-election violence and we have problems in this country, it is the common people who suffer. It is not the politicians who are responsible for the violence and for all these electoral problems. Now that your candidature and your chairmanship largely will also be as a result of those common people you sat down with and who noticed your potential. And if you are confirmed, you give an undertaking that you will protect Kenyans to the hilt. Because this is the first time that we're seeing.
Please undertake to that because it's very important. They are watching
the lives of Kenyans every day.
I shall undertake that, and Chair, with your permission, I want to assure the honourable members that if we remind ourselves of the oath that if confirmed, I will definitely take. The oath reminds us of a lot of things.
Okay.
That we shall obey, we shall respect, and discharge the trust. And that I give my assurance. Thank you.
Okay. As regards the last one from Honorable Nyamira, Member of Parliament from which we shall be looking at as regards how many names were taken, whether any ladies were in there. Now the law. Can you have an next?
Chair.
All right. What we do is because there is an objection from Honorable Karemba.
Yes.
Because you do not understand what you're going to be saying.
And again,
I invite.
That's not the question, Chair. Let's be clear. I did not and I do not seek the nominee to speak in Luo. What I want to understand is why he has listed the Luo as one of the languages he speaks, and Spanish. Those two. Just
Has he put it Turkana?
yes.
He's put Turkana, Swahili, English. Then he also speaks the Luo. He speaks Spanish. I speak Kikuyu, and I'm not a Kikuyu. I don't think he needs to explain that one. I'm not an Arab. So why?
That's the language that I picked as a child.
That was picked as your mother tongue. Somebody taught me Kikamba as my mother tongue, and I'm not a Kamba. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the chairperson.
Of Kenyans, there is no big difference between Atharaka and
Anyway, that's with a light touch so that we make it as lively as it can be. Erastus, thank you very much for appearing before us. We are through with the session. As we said, it's a session to confirm whether the process by which you were nominated was a process in accordance with the Constitution and the law. Number two, whether from your own expression you are suitable for this job. We cannot make that verdict now. These members will retire. They will evaluate everything that is before us, including what you've told us, and we'll make a report to Parliament. So for now, we discharge you so that we can hear the next nominee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Return to him his original documents. The rest of them can remain with us, the copies. Okay. Good morning, nominee.
Morning to you, Chairman.
The presumption is that before us is Annie Jerry Nderitu,
Yes,
nominated Commissioner for Iebc.
sure.
Thank you. Welcome to Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
Thank you.
We are going to go through the vetting process. This is not an examination. It's purely to confirm that the process by which you were nominated was due. And number two, that you're suitable for this position. So these are the members of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. We'll introduce ourselves to you. You introduce yourself afterwards. Then we shall give you 10 minutes. You tell us who you are. And then we'll ask you a few questions, just a few. I know we've interacted with you from your office, which you hold now, but that does not in any way hamper our ability to confirm your suitability for this particular office.
Sure.
So we will not be biased, and we shall not be discriminative against you. So with those remarks, I introduce myself, George Gitonga Murugara, Member of Parliament for Tharaka Constituency. I'm the Chairman, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Mutuse. MP Kibwezi West, Vice Chair.
Mogaka, I'm elected by the great people of West Mugrango constituency and a member of Iebc committee.
Molo, member for Ariada.
Mushangi Karembe, Member of Parliament for Runyenjes and a member.
John Makali, member of Parliament for Kandui constituency, a member of this committee.
Wood, Wajir East. My name is Michael Mushera, MP Orojorok, and I can disclose that the nominee is my constituent, but of course I'm not conflicted.
Thank you.
Right, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Zulekha Harun, nominated member and a member of the Jailer Committee.
Get.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Peter Chemweno. I'm Director at Departmental Committees, and on my left are members of staff who serve in the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, and they comprise committee clerks, legal counsel, research officers, and other administrative officers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is sufficient for introduction. Ms. Anderito.
Yes, Chair.
We will administer an oath upon you. You tell us which is your religion or we affirm you. Number two, you will give us after signing the oath, you will give us your original certificates. We confirm whether what you've given us as copies does tally with what you have. Number three, you sit down and give you maximum 10 minutes. You take us through the journey of your life since birth up to today, when you hold that office in the register of political parties, and you can say something about elections in Kenya. Thank you so much for that. Sergeant at Arms, can you please administer the oath? Now she can choose a book, the Holy Book, or affirm.
Chair, I'm a Christian. I use the Bible. I, Anne Jerry Nderitu, do swear that the information I shall give before this committee on the matters under its consideration shall be truthful, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you very much. Sign the oath the oath you've sworn to or you've sworn with. No idea what you do to an oath. Thank you very much. You may now give out your original certificates if they are near. If they are not near, then the original certificates, they've already been issued, given out. Thank you very much. Very good. Anne, certificates are given out, so you don't have to worry. Now, in less than 10 minutes, tell us who you are. Walk us through the journey of your life up to today in less than 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to appear in this honorable committee. My name is Anne Jerry Denito. I was born and bred in Nyandarua County in a place called Oljororok, where the honorable member come from. I went to school within Nyandarua County. And then after that, primary school, in a primary school called Weru Secondary. Then I went to Wajohi Girls. Then after that, I went to Moi University to take a degree in education. I did a bachelor's of education, specifically in literature and English. After that, I started my teaching career in Muranga. I taught for about 2 years. Then after that, I applied to join education administration.
As names of these places where you know, people are watching you.
Yeah.
And when you say you taught at Kahuya Girls or one of those great schools in Muranga, they feel extremely good. Tell us, in Muranga, where did you teach?
I taught in a high school called Mudhidi Secondary School in Marangwa constituency. After that, after teaching for 2 years, I applied for a job in the Ministry of Education to work now in education administration. My reason for applying after those 2 years, I felt that I would do more contribution in leadership in education. And after the application, I was actually given a job as an inspector of schools. I started my inspection of schools journey from Jogo House, later posted to Kiambu County, the Raja Kiambu County then. And in the process, I got promoted. I was posted to Kiambu West, which its headquarters was in Limuru. At Limuru, I worked as an area education officer, and then also as a district quality assurance and standard officer. Then within the district, within that particular year, I was also promoted again to become a district education officer, which I worked briefly in Limuru, and then I was later posted to Ukabani, Makueni, specifically in Boni constituency, and Bubuni was the center where I went to start a new district. After working as a district education officer, maybe to bring where I am today, when I was working in Limuru as a district education officer and quality assurance, that is when 2007 post-election violence happened, and I had the responsibility of, together with other leaders in the district, we had the responsibility of settling the people who came from other areas where the violence had happened to centers within the Muru. One of the center was called Kiradimo, and we had to start as the education. We had to start the centers for how to take care of the children, and I saw children who came without their mothers. Others did not know where their parents were or the siblings. I saw mothers who never knew where the children were. I saw people who really were desperate, others were wounded. I saw mothers also going through labor within the center and all that. And I think that is the first point it awakened me that there's something called elections, and elections can be managed. And it aroused my interest from that day. And I said, one day, I was a youth, I was a young girl. That day I said, one day, I will run elections. And in 2009, I saw the advertisement of the IIC then, which was the interim elections, and IIC, Independent Electoral Commission. Yeah, that's when I threw in my application. Then I was a DO in Ukabani, and by God's grace, I got an opportunity to be hired by that particular institution. Then I worked there in the IIC for the 2 years, and then we were later absorbed by Iebc when the Iebc was now formed.
What were you hired as?
I was hired as my first hiring at Iebc was manager partnerships. I was in charge of stakeholder engagement, resource mobilization, donor engagement, and generally special interest groups. So I worked there for about 5 years in that docket. Later, I also acted as the director of voter education and partnerships for also another 2 years. And later after that, I went to head electoral training, now in the operations docket. So I also worked another 4 or so years in that particular training docket. So in total, I worked in Iebc for 9 years. After that, an opportunity arose at the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, and government then was looking for someone to go and sit in an acting capacity as they recruited the Registrar of Political Parties. The then Iebc chair, Wafula Chebukati, seconded me to go, of course, with the consultation with government, to go and act as the Registrar of Political Parties, awaiting the recruitment. That was 2018. Later, which was supposed to be acting for 6 months, later turned out to be almost 2 years, which I acted, and later the position was advertised. In the year 2020, I applied, and the rest is history, because now I was confirmed as the Registrar of Political Parties. So in total, Chair, I've been working as the Registrar of Political Parties for a period of 7 years. And it has been a long and bumpy, sometimes a bumpy journey, but through it all, I've seen the institution grow from what I met as about 46 staff to now around 120 staff. We have 12 offices established in the counties. At the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, I've also established systems. One of it is the digitalization of all the processes, including membership recruitment and ensuring that Kenyans are recruited in parties they actually would want to belong. So one of the major issues was fixing systems and making the institution work. We have also had legal review and legal reform. And also at the OLPP, I'm also the accounting officer and the authorized officer. And Chair, I can report that for the last 6 years I've been at that docket. I've had clean audit reports, and clean I mean without qualified opinion. Of course, there are some issues that I usually come to respond to, as it is the practice, but at least we have had without qualified opinion. Chair, in terms of election capacity and what I've done at Iebc, I worked to develop the training manuals that are used up to date, more than 16 of them. I was leading a team that developed those training materials, and they are used up to date, and you can see the many of them. At OLPP, I've also developed similar training materials and information books and policies that allow the institution to run. Chair, I can also confirm when I was working at Iebc at the partnership department, I also developed policies and also frameworks for engaging partners, and also developed policies on how to engage the special interest groups. I'm also an accomplished bridge trainer, which is a training which is one of the highest accrediting training that you can have in the electoral space. Apart from holding the degree in education, in literature, I also hold a master's degree in linguistics, and also hold a diploma in administration, I also hold other certificates. I've been trained in elections in India for about 2 months. I've trained in election comparative training in election management in India, in South Korea, and also have many bench making across the world. I've also been involved as an election observer in at least 21 countries in the globe. I've also trained different institutions, including electoral commissions, in elections management. So I'm very sound with electoral policy and electoral training and the operations of elections not only in Kenya, but also in the region and comparative across the globe. I'm also all round because I've also managed political parties. I've engaged political parties back to back. Probably I'm among the very few Kenyans who are able to say that I know elections back to back, because I've worked right from when a person expresses interest to learn for elections up to the time the person is elected. I know the processes back to back, starting from expression of interest and then coming all the way to become an officer who have been elected in a particular position. I'm able to relate and process all that information.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think you're good diving into your experience into this, but these members have questions for you.
Sure.
To show that the process of your nomination and your suitability for that job. So I think we start straight away. We have one lady who is sitting with us, Honorable Zulekha. She'll be the first one. She's coming back. As she comes back, let me have Honorable Otiende Amolo. He can pose the question.
Chairman. And Ritu, just 2 questions.
Sure.
We have received memoranda in objection to your nomination that you are currently serving as the registrar of political parties and therefore you are ineligible. The question is this: are you a state officer or a public officer? And secondly, how do you respond to that objection? The second very brief question is that we've seen in the past, we saw what was referred to before as a split screen. We saw a divided commission. In the event that you were to be approved, how would you assure us that we will not have a situation where we have a commission that is divided? Thank you.
Right. Please make notes of the questions because you'll answer them at one go. Okay. And note the first question was on your appointment.
Sure.
Very good. Honorable Karemba Mushangi. Pose your question. One question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I take notice of a very good presentation of by the nominee, and I saw somewhere in her very good. I saw somewhere in her submissions that she did something on facilitator for running to win 2027 agenda, and I am curious to know what is this? What is this mission? Is it is your application to be in the commission part of the wider strategy to running to win 2027 agenda? Could you shed light to?
Thank you very much, Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Chair. I was equally impressed with the nominee. She just served for 2 years after university, and she got to become an administrator in education. Okay, so I was wondering, and then she joined Iebc later on, rose through the rank to become a director. After that, became the registrar of political parties. And if I quote her, she said she was seconded by the late Chair Chebukati, but with the approval of government. So I'm wondering, what is this helping hand that is taking her through all these positions, is she what we call the deep state that people talk about? And I didn't even know about this running to win 2027. I'm even more curious now. And Chair, the nominee has worked for a long time in Iebc, 9 years. She has also worked 7 years in ORPP. Shouldn't there be some cooling off time? Isn't she so knowledgeable about the inner workings of these institutions that, just like the former commissioners, she should not even be allowed to be a commissioner, because she needs to cool off. We give her some 5 years before she even applies for jobs like this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dawood. Honorable Mushira.
Thank you, Chairman. Nominee, your office has been perceived to lack independence, the ORPP, to some extent that anyone who wants to register probably a political party fears that you will be the block, that roadblock, that you consult somewhere whether to approve or not. So I would wish you to confirm that, and if it's so, whether this lack of independence will be transferred to the Iebc. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Lady Member, Zulekha.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Anne, for the rich CV.
Thank you.
I understand you've served as a training manager at the Iebc. What is your view on establishing an electoral training institute within the Commission to provide continuous learning, career growth, and professional certification for the staffs within the Commission? On my other question, still you've worked at the Iebc for many years, and in the recent past we've seen the way the Commission has been divided when it comes to the election time, and even in terms of the management within the Iebc. How will you foster an institution culture of neutrality and non-partisan among the Iebc staff? And what are some of the leadership principles you will bring to the Commission plenary to ensure effective teamwork among the commissioners and the staffs? And finally, how will you respond to concerns about potential institutional bias rising from having previous relationships with staffs and stakeholders? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Closely intertwined to Honorable Dawood's questions. Nominee, we give you time to respond to that.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, you be precise, concise, brief, so that we are able to make progress very quickly. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give you time for that.
Yeah, Chair, I'm a linguist and I was taught summary. The first question is on my suitability, on my eligibility as a commissioner, because I am currently holding an office. My response to that, Chair, to Honorable Member, first, I'm a state officer, not a public officer, and I want to respond by giving a document. I don't know where it is. It's a document to the members. You can give it to a few of the members. Please, you should just give me one copy.
What document are you producing?
A document just to respond to that first question.
Why did you respond verbally?
Allow me, please, Chair. Because I'm your candidate.
Yes,
yeah,
but
please.
you know, it's not an examination, but,
yeah, but
tell us verbally what the document is all about in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Then we shall read the rest of it.
Yeah, as she gives, yeah? When I was just about to apply for the commission, I was live to that particular provision that one of the eligibility, that somebody cannot be appointed as a commissioner, or as a commissioner if you are a state officer. But I want to say, number one, that the law talk about appointment, and therefore the whole of this process will actually finally end up in the appointment, which now, in the meantime, we are doing the process leading to appointment. But this particular document, Chair, please, a single minute, is from the National Assembly.
You are saying you have not been appointed?
Yes, I have not been appointed.
Thank you very much. Move to the next question.
Yeah. And this document, Chair, will say why. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Chair, I think because I posed the question, I need a clear answer. And I think Kenyans need the clarity of the answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chair,
Because
please allow me, because
88.
that's the petition that has been given to this committee. Yeah, please, if you allow me just a few seconds, I could have. Yeah.
2 seconds, bearing in mind my time constraints.
Yeah, I know.
Right. There's a distinction between the two. That's what you're supposed to be drawing, actually.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So I wanted to draw your attention to a ruling by the National Assembly Speaker on this matter. And it was ruled on 4th of December 2014, when one person who was a state officer was before a committee and it was supposed to be approved by Parliament. And without reading the whole document, I will just go to the last 2 paragraphs of what the Speaker said. He said, I therefore rule that the office of Member of Parliament of Kajiado Central or any other member does not fall vacant on account of his nomination for appointment as a cabinet secretary. Such a member will only be required to vacate office by tendering his resignation just before assuming the office of the cabinet secretary.
Thank you. Nominee, appointment, and nomination. And
Sure.
on the discussion. Next question.
The next question, Chair, was on if the divide is clean about the split commission. One, it is very important to do team building of a commission, and I want to submit one of the differences that usually come is if people come at different times, necessarily in an electoral commission. Team building, and especially when they come towards the end of towards the election, the time for team building actually may not be there. Now that we are entering all of us together, should we be approved by this Parliament, then team building and working together for the common good will be our intention. And therefore, I submit, Chair, personally, I will try to be as a team player as much as possible. Should there be conflict, we shall be looking out to see how we can resolve conflict rather than split, because we have a responsibility to deliver. And therefore, I want to submit at a personal level that I would want to play part of the team under the leadership of the chairman, if approved by Parliament. The other question is that this question of Learning to Win facilitator. Learning to Win a facilitator, actually, it's a program to bring many people who are, especially the young people. It's actually a civil society program in Kenya. It aims to bring the youth, the person with disability, and women, the marginalized, to try to bring as many in the ballot paper as possible. We call it Learning to Win because we are trying to bring the marginalized communities, the youth, the person with disabilities, and the women to come to the ballot paper. So it's a civic engagement program that I'm usually involved in terms of mobilizing the people to participate in elections. So it has nothing to do with the people who are learning for elections or helping. Anybody is actually a civic engagement. And we target the universities. We do programs in the universities for them to understand the space of elections. We target women who ran and failed last time. We target the marginalized communities who have no representation, so that by doing so, we have as many as inclusive elections as possible. So I've been facilitating when called upon from time to time for them to understand the sharing and the election laws and what is there for them to prepare to join the election space and also learn and be in the ballot paper. The other question, Chair, was what is the helping hand looking at my CV and career, whether I'm part of the deep state. Of course, I'm trickled by deep state, but I want to say the helping hand can only be described in two. Number one, my hard work, because I'm usually focused. I want to do the right thing. I work hard. I work beyond my time. If you give me an assignment, I will do even beyond what you told me to do. That has been my philosophy, the philosophy of excellence. And if you work as a young person around people who really want excellence, automatically somebody will pick you pick you up and see there's a person who means well and he has the capacity and ability. And I have that particular feeling that you should continually develop yourself. That is one. Two, of course, I'm a Christian. I pray. So if there's any helping hand, God has been involved. Yeah.
What next question?
The next question, the independent of OLPP, whether I have to consult other people so that I register a political party. The first thing...
Chair, Chair, she didn't...
Go to Honorable Dawood, where he says your status now looks suspicious. The nomination now towards your appointment to the commission is suspicious in that you have had a long relationship with Iebc. Says, what exactly are you going to do there?
Okay. Whether I need a cool off. Indeed, it was the next question, but let me respond to it first. That whether I need a cool off time. The first thing is that I think this country need to tap experience. And provided an officer is a person of integrity, is hardworking, is able to do the right thing, then I don't think you need any cool of time, because you are actually transferring that experience. It will be a wasted talent if now somebody who have worked and has talent is thrown out on basis that you need to cool off. My take would be you need to translate that experience even to do better in elections.
He is asking whether that helping hand, which was alluded to, is not the helping hand that is taking you to Iebc where you were for 9 years.
The helping hand, if it is God, then God is taking me there.
Yeah, but leave the deity, leave God. What about the Africa, the other human being hand?
I doubt which is the hand, because I think the jobs were open for application, and I applied just like any other. In the Kenyan, I went through a process, and here I was, and I don't think I know any person whatsoever who actually is the hand. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Political party?
The question of political parties, first of all, the issue of registering a political party, if I come just to registering a political party, is governed by the law. And the Political Parties Act is very clear which processes and steps to follow when you are registering a political party. At no point do we consult anybody about how we register a political party or not. And the Act is very clear that the Office of Registrar is an independent state office. And I think we have, to the largest extent, seriously, we have maintained that independence. We have registered, since I joined 2018, I've registered 34 political parties. Right now, there are about 40 or so that are going registration. And every day you see newspapers publishing political parties that are supposed to be registered. If
including DCP of the impeached deputy president.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was for him, but we registered with officials who presented themselves. Yeah, the officials who registered. Whether he came to join in later, that's another story altogether. But we have registered as many political parties as they have met the requirement of the law, and we shall continue to register. Sometimes we are even challenged that we are registering too many political parties, but we maintain that Kenya is a multi-party democracy, and as far as a person is meeting the required legal framework, then he should be allowed to register a political party. So really, we are not biased. We have worked beyond reproach. You make decisions. Sometimes one divide is not happy because there are two people maybe who are fighting, and it's bound to happen in any institution where decisions are made. Somebody may express that I'm not happy with the decision. Luckily, the appeal mechanism in this country, if somebody is dissatisfied with the decision, is able to take it to the next level of dispute resolution. The other question was whether I support the establishment of Electoral Training Institute for the staff within the Electoral Commission. The truth is yes. When I worked as the Director of Voter Education and Partnerships, we even developed a concept. We even engaged with the KICD, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. We even developed a curriculum. We engaged with Kenya School of Government. We were to establish such an institution. And I was the first person to develop that concept paper of establishing an institution. We even were supported at some point by Iebc. Iebc is the organization that bring the global electoral commissions together. And they gave us some little fund to try and do the concept, which I did. But before probably I could complete, I was transferred to another department. But I still think it's a very valid idea, very important. When I was the Electoral Training Manager, I developed an online training where the presiding officers were supposed to be trained and do some exam to be marked by the trainers as a way of institutionalization training within the Electoral Commission, and I know up to date the Electoral Commission used that, so that the presiding officers are also taken through to do some kind of an examination, and then the trainers mark it so that we have the best trained electoral staff. The other question, Chair, is on neutrality of IEBC staff. What I want to confirm to this committee and of course to the nation, that IEBC has one of the very well trained electoral staff across the region. IEBC has invested very much in electoral training and training the staff. We have one of the best electoral staff that we can have in the region. But sometimes Kenyans do not appreciate that we have such resources. If you take even the simplest person in IEBC at the deputy returning officer level, and you take him abroad, he'll be able to train about elections because they are trained. Continuously training is done within IEBC. And IEBC staff are very committed. I worked with them, I know them, they are very committed to do the right thing and to be neutral, but they need to be motivated, they need to be guided and protected from public attacks, because sometimes that is what diminishes the ability to want to do all that you can do. So one of the requests that I'll make to this committee, and of course the Parliament as a whole, is sometimes to try and caution the officers who are working in elections. It's a tedious job, it's very demanding, it demands your energy. Some of them even get, their health get compromised in the name of serving in elections, others get killed in the process, but sometimes the nation does not understand. And you see, this job has to be done by some Kenyans. So it is only good if we really stop attacking, especially the political class. Let's give IEBC staff the time to really work and do what is required. Because there's a commission, the commission is the political arm of that institution, it's better to engage with the commission at that level, should there be issues, instead of attacking directly the staff that are working in elections. By doing that, this neutrality which they already have, that one I can confirm because I've worked with majority of them and they mean well for this country. This neutrality, they feel the motivation to keep working and feeling energized to really serve this nation in elections. The second to last question was which leadership principles will I bring to the Iebc Commission that will enhance governance? I think the first one should be my ability to stay focused and to do a project and finish. I am able to see back to back of a project and want to finish. I'm also a team player. And secondly, I also am very well talented in negotiation, in mentorship, and also be able to mediate in circumstances where the problems will arise. I'm also very calm as a personality. Rarely do I get worked up, which I think it's a quality that can help in elections. I'm able to stay resilient and work all the way towards achieving an objective.
Thank you very much. You say you don't lose your cool easily.
Not very easily, by the way.
You're telling us that's a virtue for commissioners.
Yeah, and then there was the last question, Chair.
Yes.
Potential institution bias towards stakeholders. I think one of the issues that we must agree that there has been a problem, in spite of what we have done. One of the issues that we must fix as a country is access to election. And this specifically to engage all the stakeholders in elections. Sometimes, and I want to say because I was a member of staff in the commission, sometimes the commission tried to protect its staff too much out of the attack that there's no electoral access for everyone. So I think the part of it is actually to try and engage every stakeholders in time and give the right information without appearing to really be overprotective. And finally, it's very important that the stakeholder give honest opinion and the commission is able to respond to the issues raised without fear of contradiction. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, we are looking at your academic papers. Mm-hmm. And in some of them, you are named as Annie Jerry Simon.
Yes.
Others are Annie Jerry Nderito.
Yes.
Is that the same person?
Yeah, there's even an affidavit within the papers. So I sworn to say that this is one and the same person. Anne Jerry Simon was my maiden name. Anne Jerry Derito is my married name. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. Just answer these few questions. Yes or no? Honorable Farah, please. We are running out of time, eh? Just hold on, Honorable Farah. If you can kindly, hold on. Please. All right? Please, Mogaka. Let's just do the routine questions, and then we see what we are able to do. Okay, now, have you been convicted of any offense?
No.
No. Have you been named as having contravened Chapter 6 of the Constitution on ethics?
No.
Do you have any potential conflict of interest between what you're doing now and if you are confirmed as a nominee of Iebc, as a commissioner for Iebc? Do you see any potential conflict of interest, including now and in the future?
Now, I don't have any, but should there be any conflict arising, I will declare interest as guided by Article 75 of the Constitution.
Have you done any pro bono works in the Republic of Kenya worth mentioning?
Yes,
that is out to help human beings.
Yes, I participate in charity work, and especially through the church. I also do mentorship program for young people and young marriages. Yeah, through the church program. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Finally, you know Iebc is a sensitive office that you are going into if you are approved by this House, including what many people out there believe are lucrative contracts with the chicken, whatever it was called, all that put together. contracts that would enrich you to the disadvantage of the work you've been employed to do, and also to the disadvantage of Kenyans. What is your net worth?
My net worth as captured in the document is around 138 million Kenya shillings.
138 million made up of?
Made up of real estate, a few properties, made up of vehicles, made up of a few houses, some stocks, and also some investment in dairy farming.
Dairy farming, all right. What is your source of income as we speak today?
My source of income is, first of all, my salary and my allowances. I also have dividends that are coming from SACCOs and stocks, which come probably periodically or every year. I also have, I run also a small business in logistics and also farming.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Anderitu. For the sake of time and members, we agree in agreement that the questions are almost exhaustive and the responses are also almost exhaustive. We will release you. We will not give you a verdict today. We have to retreat and look at everything you've told us and what you submitted before us. Then we do a report, submit it to the House, and the House will make a decision as to whether you are suitable or not suitable to sit as a commissioner of IEBC.
Sure.
So for now, we thank you very much, and we release you so that we can meet the next candidate.
Thank you.
Sorry.